Manassas is a thriving community with lots of community events, festivals, and local clubs. And although it is a little bit further outside of the city, you certainly won't be sacrificing on access to daily needs if Manassas is where you decide to call home. The other thing to keep in mind with Manassas, it is the most affordable city in Northern Virginia. So you will find, particularly with housing, that your money goes a little bit further in Manassas. I'm actually gonna take you into my computer so that I can show you around on Google Maps, give you an idea of where Manassas is in proximity to Washington, D.C., local airports, VRE, metro, and major employment areas. We're also gonna be taking a look at what the area has to offer for shopping, dining, and entertainment. Okay, so let's talk about where Manassas is in proximity to Washington, D.C. If you're living in Manassas and headed into the city, you're looking at about a 32-mile commute, of course, depending on where you're coming from in Manassas. And without traffic, that's gonna put you at about 50 minutes to get into the city. It's still a reasonable commute by Northern Virginia standards, but I don't wanna sugarcoat anything. If you live in Manassas and you're driving into Washington, D.C. on a daily basis in peak commute time, it's going to be a long haul. If you're going to be living in Manassas and you're commuting into Tyson's Corner, you're looking at about 25 miles and a 35-minute commute. Again, if that's not during peak time. And if you're in Manassas, but you're gonna be heading into Arlington, you're looking at about a 30-mile commute and a 45-minute drive. All of these are going to vary just depending on what traffic is doing. We always like to touch on these areas because they are major employment hubs in the Northern Virginia region. Dulles Airport is going to be the closest if you are living in Manassas, and it's about 20 miles away and a 35-minute drive. Reagan is still a reasonable commute if you're going to be flying quite a bit and living in Manassas. It is further, it's about 35 miles and 50 minutes, but if you're shopping around, I would definitely include Dulles and Reagan in your search to see which has the best prices. Now let's talk about public transportation in Manassas. And when it comes to VRE, Manassas has that box checked off in a big way. You could be as close as walking distance to the VRE station, or maybe up to a 10 or 15 minute drive. Easily accessible and nearby no matter where you're living in Manassas. Metro is a different story. The bad news is there's no metro station in Manassas. If you haven't already checked out our vlog and our pros and cons video, be sure to do that because we talk more about it. Metro isn't super far away, but depending on what side of Manassas you're living on will probably dictate which metro station you head to. The metro station in Vienna is about 17 miles away and 30-ish minutes depending on what time of day you're heading there. But if you're on the 95 side of Manassas, then Franconia Springfield metro station is probably going to be your best bet. And it's about 22 miles away and 38 minutes. So just depending on where you're coming from, Metro isn't crazy far away, and I certainly would consider it, especially if I were heading into the city on a regular basis. Personally, I would much rather take Metro or VRE into the city than deal with all of the crazy drivers and the bumper-to-bumper traffic. If you're interested in learning more about Northern Virginia, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap that bell for notifications so that you never miss a video from me. So now that we've talked about commuting from Manassas, traveling from Manassas, and what it's like time-wise to get into the city, let's talk about what Manassas has to offer for day-to-day life. And Manassas has no shortage of access to daily needs. You have your big box stores, your Walmart, your Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco. It checks all the boxes there. You also have a great variety of grocery stores in Manassas and no shortage of places to select from depending on where you like to shop. You also have, your Harris Teeter, your Giant Food, and there is a Wegmans. It's not in Manassas though. There's one in Gainesville nearby if you are a fan of Wegmans. Manassas is a great place in terms of activities as well. They really do a wonderful job with giving residents access to nature. It's home to Manassas National Battlefield. That's one that we visit in our vlog, so be sure to check that out if you haven't. Manassas National Battlefield is almost 5,100 acres. And whether you're there for the history or if you want to get some exercise in, they have you covered there as well. There's 40 miles of trails. You could do a really easy loop if you just wanted to do a short hike. They have a loop that's only a little over a mile. But if you really want to get after it, they certainly have the trails to do that with. Manassas is also home to Ben Lomond Park, And within that park is Splashdown Water Park, which is an 11-acre water park. So much fun. I actually remember going there. That was my senior trip when I was a senior in high school. We went and spent the day at Splashdown, and it was so much fun. Highly recommend that if you are in the area and have kids. They will have a blast. And I have to say, it's pretty fun for the adults too. We can't talk about Manassas and not share information about the historic downtown area. And I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like for Manassas, their downtown area is not talked about nearly enough. We hear a lot about, downtown Falls Church or Old Town Alexandria, both of which are great. But so is Old Town Manassas. They have boutique shopping, you have art galleries, you have really well-preserved 19th century buildings, so if you just want to go stroll around. The food scene in Old Town Manassas is also wonderful. You can stop by the train depot to see how life used to look there with the railroads and the history. One of my favorite places in downtown Manassas is the Popcorn Monkey. I absolutely love visiting the Popcorn Monkey. They have so many different flavors there, and it's just something that's unique to the area. You're not going to find that on every corner in Northern Virginia. And one of my favorite restaurants in downtown Manassas is Public House. It's a dive, it's super chill, really just laid back vibe, but their food is delicious. I would say it's upscale bar food. Great place to go grab a drink or go in for happy hour. The other thing about downtown Manassas is they have a vibrant art scene. And it's not just the art galleries, there are art shows, and you can really get a lot of culture in downtown Manassas, so something for everyone. Don't forget to check out the Harris Pavilion as well. You will see that there are concerts that go on there, and that's sort of a central point if you want to get some parking. It's easy to park there and then head into downtown Manassas from the pavilion. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell so that you never miss a video from me. And until I see you on the next one, take care.